The Adam Smith Awards are recognised globally as the industry benchmark for best practice and innovation in corporate treasury. With this podcast series, we're going to take a deep dive into each of the winning solutions of 2021 and hear from the creators who made it all happen.
Hello, I'm Sophie Jackson, Joint Publisher and Head of Strategic Content at the Treasury Today Group. In this episode, we take a look at the overall winner and the highly commended winner of the First Class Relationship Management category. This category incorporates any relationship, internal as well as external, that's managed by the Treasury function, such as investor relations, employee relations, rating agencies and procurement, in addition to the core bank and service provider relationships. Economic turmoil and the coronavirus pandemic have certainly focused minds on the value of relationships.
And the overall winner in the First Class Relationship Management category is Dave Pugh, Treasurer at Elanco Animal Health. Congratulations.
Hello, my name is Dave Pugh and I'm the Treasurer of Elanco Animal Health. I'm very proud of my team being selected as the overall winner of the Adam Smith First Class Relationship Management Award. First of all, winning an Adam Smith Award in 2020 is very humbling, given the year and the many trials all of us had to overcome personally and professionally. This award, though, is particularly meaningful and speaks to the Elanco Treasury team's ability to achieve really unprecedented results through deep subject matter expertise and world-class partnerships. I had an opportunity this summer to take my family on a vacation to the Kennedy Space Center. And part of the tour is a fully restored control room for the Apollo missions, spearheaded by Gene Kranz. And as I was sitting in the audience and I looked over this room full of monitors and blinking lights and binders and ashtrays, on the back of the chairs are white lab coats with the names of the companies represented in the control room, names like IBM, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, et cetera. And you sit there and you realize to accomplish something truly remarkable, it's never one person, and rarely is it one company, but a select, well-coordinated team of the best individuals, really across many companies and many fields of expertise. So working in an environment of uncertainty, and specifically I'm talking not just about COVID and a changing mobile work environment, but fundamental infrastructure uncertainty, both with Elanco, which we had and still building our own SAP systems, as well as setting up a new ERP system for the Bayer Animal Health business that we were being prepared to acquire. This required an equally dedicated, well-coordinated team of deep subject matter expertise from Elanco Tax, Treasury, and Accounting, and importantly, from equally dedicated teams from JP Morgan, Citi, and Deloitte. We embarked on this project by signing a deal to acquire Bayer Animal Health in August of 2019, less than a year after our IPO. In mid-2020, we accomplished something no other company has ever done. We acquired a company over half our size, less than 2 years from IPO, while still under TSAs from our former parent, with a purchase price of north of $7 billion. This is a highly complex transaction, and you have to understand that in the midst of this, we were still really a startup and a fledgling company. We had not created our own SAP environment, and our infrastructure was still being formed. But in partnerships with our banks and consultants, we executed an ambitious plan. Not only was the plan ambitious, but the timeline to get there was very expedited in that we only really had 9 months to get everything blocked and tackled for the closing of the acquisition. But we were able to close on this transaction. Not only was it complex and in the middle of a pandemic, and that we had to do it within 9 months, but we also had to stand up a separate ERP system that supported the Bayer operations with 70 new accounts and 35 legal entities, because our own SAP system was not fully migrated from our former parent. So we were able to do this implemented a new regional cash management structure in EMEA in approximately 6 months, navigating Brexit. And importantly, we created a new legal entity structure that encompassed all of the 35 Bayer legal entities into our own legal entity structure, working closely with tax. So truly a remarkable effort in the middle of great uncertainty. But one of the most challenging aspects of the deal was actually preparing for the close on August 1st of 2020, which happened to be on a Saturday. And for various logistical reasons, our partner required us to close on Saturday morning. We were able to utilize some innovative thinking from JP Morgan as well as the rest of the team when we got in the room, and we were able to use the time zone difference between Germany and the US in order to actually transact the cash transaction on a Friday in the US by JP Morgan staying open an extra 15 minutes in order to make this happen. And that was a great example of truly orthogonal thinking about how to take complex problems that seemed to be intractable at the time and actually working through them in a creative way that we were able to close the transaction successfully. The key to success of how this process, this overall acquisition was managed, really is defined by people. And we look for three attributes really to help us as a Treasury team coordinate a very complex series of, not just the transaction, but a series of activities. And we look at people for their character, what is their style? Are they able to think creatively? Do they speak up? What is their intrinsic character? And this is not just Elanco people, but specifically from our business partners. We look for content. Are they subject experts in their field? Do they really bring value that is differentiated into the room when we're getting ready to make decisions? And can they communicate clearly? So really, character, content, and clarity are three attributes that we really look for when we're bringing a select few people into a room. But as Beth Haney, who is Elanco's assistant treasurer for global cash operations, puts it, our banking business partners have been running alongside us since our IPO. It's not been a slow jog at all, but in fact, it's been a flat out sprint for 2 years. And they brought us their A teams, and their consistent support and dedication to our initiatives are really the contributing factors to our success. We're truly appreciative for their partnership. We could not have done it without them. We expect a lot from our partners. We expect a lot from our internal teams in accounting and tax and treasury. And the result that we had with the Bayer acquisition is really a testament to their dedication and subject matter expertise. The main learnings from this project and working with our business partners to accomplish the transaction are very simple. People matter. We are a startup, a 65-year-old startup, but a startup nonetheless. We IPO'd in 2018 and have had the opportunity to create our treasury team, our accounting team, and a tax team from scratch. And the people we seek are those that are comfortable with ambiguity and wake up in the morning really excited to create something new. We look for this in our own people, and we demand it from our business partners. I'm a big fan of getting a few very smart, dedicated people in a room to creatively find solutions to tough problems. For a number of seemingly intractable issues throughout this entire acquisition, we brought in JP Morgan's Treasury and Escrow team, Citi's Treasury Services team, and Deloitte's accounting team to help us ideate. The team's shared sense of ownership and creativity helped our Treasury team come up with practical solutions that satisfied both Elanco and Bayer and really enabled us to close this deal less than a year from deal announcement. But I want to stress that the company itself is much less important than the character of the individuals in the control room during the launch. regardless of the badge they wear, it's important that everyone is fully engaged and dedicated to achieving a common result. The win here is really for the people, not the teams or not the companies, but really the individuals who dedicated a year or more of their life to make something truly remarkable happen. I'm very, very proud of this team.
And now it's time for a word from their partner.
Hello, I'm Mukund Iyengar and I head the healthcare industry segment sales for JP Morgan Payments. Elanco is a leading animal health company. Their leadership team in Treasury were clear about their vision and objectives right from the beginning. They knew they were going to create a robust and highly advanced global treasury infrastructure. That clarity actually helped their business partners like JP Morgan to focus and help execute on that vision. And we are continuing on that journey together. But this journey was not a very straightforward one. They had to first work through a TSA with the company that they spun away from. Then they acquired assets of another large global company. Added to that, they had to contend with multiple ERP and treasury systems. This is where JP Morgan was able to step in and share ideas and best practices. We also had to manage a very complex and a tricky situation where they had to complete the acquisition closing over a weekend. Using creative ideas and knowledge of the global clearing systems, Elanco and JP Morgan were able to pull off something that seemed impossible. This project helped build enormous equity and trust in the partnership. We also executed on a global liquidity structure that included a notional pool in Europe. A combination of the pooling solutions, disciplined FX process, and the ability to use systems effectively to move liquidity helped Elanco achieve their liquidity and financing objectives. The key elements of the broad solution and the success of our partnerships were 1. Clarity of vision from Elanco, 2. Actionable objectives and timelines from both teams, 3. Trust in the partnership to deliver, and 4. Being nimble and creative in solving tactical issues that potentially could impede the grand vision. Elanco and JP Morgan relationship has been a very delightful one, to say the least.
And the highly commended winner is...
Our highly commended winner in this category is Pritesh Vadolia, Head of Treasury Risk at Tesco.
Hi, I'm Pritesh Vadolia, Head of Treasury Risk at Tesco, and I'm pleased to say that we were awarded the highly commended in the first class relationship management category for the Adam Smith Awards. Now, we're especially pleased to have been awarded this because it's been such a volatile and uncertain year where corporate treasuries all over the world have been thrust into challenging situations just like us. Bearing this in mind, we also know how competitive the nominations have been this year. I believe there were over 300 nominations that were submitted, and that makes it even more rewarding to know that there was obviously very stiff competition, and for us to achieve this is very satisfying, and it makes me feel immensely proud to be part of this team and share successes like this with the rest of the team who were involved in this huge effort that we embarked on last year. Now, the biggest challenge, I would say, in this transaction was ensuring over $11 billion of transfers needed to happen in a timely manner before the relevant cutoffs that we had. And there were several currencies involved. We had Malaysian ringgit, we had dollars, US dollars, sterling flows all happening on the same day. So timing was everything on this. Now, our cash management bank, HSBC, they really helped us through this process. They organised weekly calls months in advance of the transaction completing, just to ensure that all obstacles were considered and resolved. We just spent weeks on end trying to think about, every aspect, every flow, and if there were any obstacles there that we needed to resolve. We set up many test payments. So I think the testing part of this was key really for us, and making sure that everything happened on the day, because the way we looked at it was we only had one chance to have a successful completion. So we just needed to make sure that everything was tested. And I have to say that the testing, we had varying results from. So sometimes we would see that we were missing cutoffs, sometimes they were successful by 10 minutes or so, and sometimes we'd see a comfortable settlement. So for us, until we were satisfied with that testing being completed successfully, we were in a much better place to complete on the day. On the completion day, we started at midnight on Friday to ensure that the funds were being drawn down on by the buyer from their various facilities, and we're in regular contact with them and their banking group just to make sure that everything was running as smoothly as possible. And HSBC kept a Zoom call open for, I would say, nearly 20 hours until the process was fully complete. And the key to the success was just to keep that constant dialogue going. We always knew they were there. We always knew all the other stakeholders involved, whether it was other banks, our buyer, or the buying group's banking group. Whether they were all involved, they were all happy to dial in and speak to us. And I look back on this and think, in a virtual working environment where many were working from home, this was one process that really worked well for us, being able to have that touch point and contact with everyone. The Zoom call was the best way to do it. And in terms of learning, collaboration for me was the key part of this. So the most important aspect of ensuring successful completion of the transaction was just to simply ensure the right people were engaged from the many different parties involved. As we touched on there were many legal teams, there were many banks from both sides, from the buyer and our treasury teams and finance teams. It was key that everybody was collaborating in the right way. And it really felt like we left no stone unturned throughout these weekly calls. And having that mindset really helped us, I think, when it came to the completion day, because it just felt like we were really well prepared and we thought of everything and we tested everything. And we really made sure that we were fully planned and prepared, and everything thankfully went smoothly.
A huge congratulations to all our Adam Smith Award winners. And thank you for listening to this episode of our dedicated Adam Smith Awards podcast series, brought to you by the Treasury Today Group. More episodes will be coming soon, featuring other award winners. So please subscribe to our channel so you can stay updated.